Ladies and gentlemen, it's the Big Jiu-Jitsu Show, a member of the Pod Bros Podcast Network. Go to podbros.com. Find another podcast you might like. Don't forget to go to bigjujitsu.com. Click the Amazon banner at the top. Give me money so I can keep doing podcasts and buy some at the store. So I'm Rob the Lord Humongous, and as always, I'm joined by our main article writer, I'd say social media manager, possibly even, I don't know, antagonizer of fans, Jonathon Hale. How's it going, Jonathan?
Yeah, going good, buddy. Going good.
So Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. My bad.
It's a good rainy day here, as our guest has pointed out that his local weather is much better. So I'll let you introduce the jerk.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So this asshole who came on the show today, he's one of the hosts of the Verbal Tap MMA comedy podcast, probably one of the funnier podcasts out there involving MMA. A writer for the Tonight Show. Is that correct?
Yeah, I was a contributing writer for the Tonight Show. Yep.
So he has legitimacy in being funny, which is great. Raf Esparza. So thank you for being on the show, Raf.
Not a problem. And I do really enjoy the push-pull that is here. That is, he's a jerk, but we're so glad to have him. And he's talking about the sun, and we live in places where we can't look up what the weather looks like and predict that it'll sometimes be cold or not the best.
Oh, no, it's pretty much like cold all around right now. And what was it the other day? I'm like, could it possibly get any worse out here? And it started snowing. I'm like, oh, that's great. It started snowing.
I live in southern Illinois, where one day it's 120 degrees, and the next day there is literally snow coming out of the air. So we have the worst planning weather known to man.
Now, you know, I did live in Illinois for 3 years, so really? I put in my time.
Yeah, well, you understand my pain.
Oh, absolutely. I went from Southern California, and I got a full ride scholarship to go compete in speech and debate, so big nerd here. And when I was out there, I went to Bloomington Normal, Illinois, and that was the coldest, most, like, nobody knew where you were. So you're like, where do you live? And I go, Normal, Illinois. And they go, you're an idiot for leaving California. And I said, I know. I made a huge mistake.
Yeah. Hey, if it gets you out there for a free ride to college, I mean, you can't really turn that down. That's
absolutely. And I mean, the people out there are so great. It bettered my life. And it actually was part of the guiding force that I knew I wanted to start doing a little bit of jiu-jitsu. And it made me really, like, that's when I really became a huge MMA fan. My roommate and I, we would fight about everything. And I ended up finding that we both liked fights. So we would find time and we'd watch the fights. And we had a rule in our apartment, which was if we ever had a dispute, like say over bills or, you know, somebody being a jerk, we would grapple. And
really?
That was the very beginning of it. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Damn, why can't more friendships be built off of that? Maybe not even friendship, but just roommate, like, agreements.
What the hell's wrong
with you?
You
hope it.
No, not friendships, marriages. Could you imagine how good a marriage would be if you didn't take the trash out? All right, let's go. It's on. You know, that would be a good day.
Are you kidding me? I would never do anything. My wife's got shitty back defense, so I'd be in good shape.
But you know, the other part of that is that I'm pretty sure that if you continue that trajectory in bed, you're going to be like 2 points. Just passed. I think right now I'm about to get the mount, so you really better get this ready.
1 hook, 2 hook, 3 hooks. Yeah, there you go. Just get real creepy with it when you do it too.
Absolutely.
So that's how you fell into it. So it was just watching it, or did you kind of like make it a point to go out and seek a school after you'd watch these fights, or did you start training while you were coming up with these dispute agreements with your roommate?
So, like, you know when you're grappling and you don't know what you're doing, but you're like, this seems fun, but I don't know.
Every day?
I'm not really learning much. You know, like, when you very first start, you have no idea what you're doing. But to us, it was just a nice way to interact. And, you know, I mean, it was like, we were both there at weird times. Like, now we get along and we laugh about it so much. But when we were there, we were just like, I was looking for places to train, and they didn't have it yet. So this was like, you know, a decade ago, and MMA is really starting to make its big push. People are really starting to get interested in it. I would start looking for places.
So about what year are we looking at? For
Makes sense that I would basically, like, any submission I would go for was programmed from pro wrestling.
Yeah.
So I was always mystified, like, it's really hard to get this figure 4 leg lock when I have somebody's De La Riva hook, but I'm going to figure out a way. So eventually, you know, I went to Kentucky. I was hired as a coach for their speech team after competing. And I was looking for schools out there, and there was one that was super far away. And I was getting sad. So I said the minute I got back to California, because that was always the plan, I was like, I'm going to go start training. And I did. The minute I got back to LA, I touched down. I started taking jiu-jitsu, and I was doing a little bit of boxing to try and get a little bit of cardio shape. But, like, cardio shape is, like, for me, just the ability to not pass out after 10 minutes. So.
That seems about
fat guy problems.
Yeah, I know. It's a big jiu-jitsu show. We understand that. If I don't have a heart attack after a 6-minute round, then, you know, I'm in pretty good shape right now.
Well, I also love the kids. Like, we had one guy, he competes out here pretty often. He actually came to visit our gym yesterday, and he's like, I haven't trained in 2 weeks. And he's a brown belt competitor, and I am not. So when he's telling me this, it's his way of trying to make an excuse. And I was like, well, I have no excuse for how shitty I am. So I trained 5 times in the last week, and yeah, I just sucked. But hey, man, let's go. And the whole time he's breathing hard. He's just like, oh man, I suck so bad. And I was like, yeah, but you're doing great.
Yeah, you're whooping my ass. Yeah. I'm like, you're doing fine,
yeah, exactly.
man. Can't really give you any critiques if I'm losing. You're like, yeah, I think you're doing
exactly. Good. Or at the end of it, I just sit him down. I was like, that was good. I'm going to give you a few notes, my man.
So what made you go into doing not just an MMA podcast, but it's called the MMA Comedy Podcast? What kind of drug you into that?
It's probably the pothead that's his co-host, if I had to guess.
That's pretty good, yeah. Kev, you know, I get so many notes about Kev of, is he really that high? And I have to say, yeah, he is usually. But he's a functional high because he gets shit done. Like, I think he'll go and he'll just start smoking out, and then he has to edit the podcast. And I'm not good with that stuff. I'm a big perfectionist. And as I'm sure you guys know, the more you try and toil and do the podcast, go over it and take out all the ends and the mistakes, and you'll go crazy if you have a weekly podcast.
Yep.
So fortunately, Kevin, he'll do some of that, but like I think he smokes out and he gets at his happy place and he does it.
Wow.
But for me, you know what it was? I was doing a talk show out here. I do stand-up comedy. And I found that so many comedians were just so depressed. And I would do it at live comedy clubs. And the thing is, they're used to having stand-up acts. So somebody comes, does like 6 minutes. But I would do a full-scale talk show using my experience from working with Conan and Leno. And every time somebody would come to my show, I'd be like, hey, are you excited to do our show? And they're like, oh, just another stop somewhere.
Wow.
And I go, I promise you're going to have a good time with us. Like, we won't make you depressed. It's just not my vibe. And by the end of it, all these comedians would say, I wish there were more shows like this. So it's kind of a grind, and I wanted that feeling more and more. And lo and behold, Kevin wanted to do a podcast. And I realized that a podcast had a better suit for my ability to produce. So I figure like our talk show or our podcast, everybody's different in their own ways. I kind of call us the late night of talk shows or podcasts, because on Verbal Tap, we do skits, I do impressions, we bring in guests, and we like to get something really different out of these guys. Cause I'll do my research, I'll listen to everybody, and I always I'm producing in my head, like, oh, we should talk about this, or I don't want to hear them talk about this story for the 9th time, cause a lot of the athletes aren't necessarily media trained. So I'm pretty sure you guys know when you've heard a story for like the 7th time on somebody else's podcast, if they're coming on your show, you really are like, how do we get them to talk about that? And they'll try and swerve you to it because they know it's a good story.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
my job as a producer is always to get the best out of them that's a little unique and a little different. And so adding the comedy angle for us was a must. And one thing I do like to do is try and get them to talk to the impersonations of people that I do. So there's nothing quite like having a guest on who fights for mixed martial arts or for the UFC who like interacts with my George St. Pierre impression. So makes for a good time.
You actually had a bit of a tiff, about a meme that you made, right? Not too long ago that shit kind of hit the fan for a minute, didn't it?
I think every meme I put out is going to probably make somebody mad. So yeah, sure. Which one?
No, I don't remember honestly, I don't remember which one it was. It was about a month ago, I guess it was. And, you guys got.
Oh, maybe you're talking about Ronda Rousey.
That might have been it.
Okay. I mean, there's several, like, there was one tip was Photoshop Steve got mad at us, who's amazing, by the way. He got mad at us because he put out a Dr. Evil comparison of Dana White and Dr. Evil with, Mini-Me being Matt Serra. And I happened to be watching the show and I took a photo of it and it's like 1 a.m. at night. And this award show, the MMA Fighters Only award show, it played like the porn awards, like the Aspen Awards. And it's so shittily put together. I just saw that. I saw the two of them. Dana wasn't even there to accept an award. He essentially buys every year. And then all of a sudden I just took a photo and compared them to Mini-Me and Dr. Evil. And Photoshop Steve was like, can you believe these people stealing my idea? And I was like, whoa, buddy. No, I don't think you have lay claimed on Dr. Evil to Dana White. That's established before any of us got here. Also, yeah. Bald dude, it kind of rates itself. So, he wrote something about us and I just sent him a note. I was like, hey dude, I'm a comedy writer and I want you to know, like, the most important thing to me is I don't steal jokes. I don't need it.
Right.
And we do other stuff and I think you do great stuff. And he was really gracious after that. It was just like, that's the thing I like for people who do this to understand is I think there's a space for all of us who do different things. Like I don't look at you guys and be like, Jeff, we gotta take them down. This week they were talking about UFC 196 and we'll show those fuckers.
Well, I thought that was what we were doing.
Yeah, I thought this was like a fight. I thought you came on here to insult us. Oh, that's fine.
Well, don't worry. I'm getting to the insult after I lull you into thinking I'm a nice guy.
Out, yes. Let's keep it going.
It's the big swerve. But on the other one, there was one that I think if you're talking about the Ronda one, I think there's a weird dichotomy. So Ronda Rousey, she talks her shit. She's essentially in many ways like a Diaz brother where she doesn't shake somebody's hand one fight. She's saying she's going to kill the person the next fight. She says that she doesn't respect somebody in another fight. So a lot of people have this good sportsmanship angle that they don't like about her. Yeah. Because with mixed martial artists, we're all supposed to be super humble and always say things on the nice side, even though that doesn't get people to watch.
Yeah,
so anyway,
it doesn't work either.
Yeah, and people don't get interested to watch those fights if you don't do the pump up. Like that's why the UFC trotted out all of their stars and they did the split screen with the intention of, all right guys, now say shit to each other. Oh, you went too far. We didn't provoke any of this, but we've already got a package ready to show you.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Ronda, was very earnest. We made a meme when she lost. I told people that day that she lost to Holly Holm, I said, guys, you shouldn't feel bad in thinking it was good of her to lose. I think that's okay. I think that as fans, if they can evoke that response from you, you have a right as a fan. You paid the money, you watched it, you invested your time, and you have the right to say, oh, this is cool, or oh, I'm glad she lost, or whatever. Just, be civil about it. Don't be a dick. And a couple weeks later, that's when she announced on Ellen that she was suffering. She had said that she would thought about committing suicide. And this brought a whole sort of weird underground YouTube comment hell from people who felt like because she had talked shit and lost a fight, she deserved to feel that way. That's where I was kind of like, yeah, dude, talk your shit. Say that she deserved to lose, or quote unquote
a lot
bully.
of fans. Yeah. But Ronda lost a lot of people just because of her dad committed suicide, if I'm not mistaken.
No,
but
he did.
Yes.
Yeah, and then she goes on the air and gets publication because she says she wanted to whenever she got mad at cannot say her damn name. The Beth chick.
Betch Carrera?
But yeah, that one.
I got you covered.
She went on bitching because she said something about her dad committing suicide, and then she loses a fight, and then she comes out saying that she wanted to commit suicide. I just thought that was pretty fucked up.
It is, and I mean, I think it's indicative of something not being right in the individual. And I think that's where it kind of crosses the line. Like, these athletes are there for us to watch, and we can support them, we can not support them. I just know that I personally would never wish that kind of option, or for somebody to feel that terrible to that extent where they would do it on my worst enemy. Now, granted, we totally consider the fact that yes, she could be playing the media, but let me present Exhibit A, which is her film career for all of you. She's not that good of an actress.
Not really.
No. I've seen just about every other actress put together better sentences than she did. And I mean, even Gina Carano looks at her career and is like, whoa, girl, take an acting class.
Yeah, it's pretty, I guess, like almost robotic how she acts. And
yeah,
like it's definitely not her playing it up. I mean,
the
only other thing that really got me during that whole thing was, we're for example, we're starting to support Mission 22 because there's like an issue with veteran suicides. And I've dealt with people who said, I want to kill myself. You take it seriously. There's no like, are you doing this just for attention?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, you take it seriously no matter what.
But that's the whole thing. Sometimes that is a cry for help. And I think that she's in an elevated status where she does have good people around her. Maybe yes people a lot of the times, which can be equally as dangerous. I just don't see a benefit in cheering that in the same way that I would cheering a win or a loss in the octagon. I think that's a little more concrete, and I think on the outside, it speaks to a very competitive mindset that you have to go to that extreme to want to be that competitive good. And that's why we like these athletes. Like when I interview athletes, I'm genuinely curious to know what that feels like. Because when I'm rolling with somebody, I don't ever think I've got to win this or my life's incomplete. I think, man, I better try and do good. And I suck, but I think I can do pretty good here. Or, oh man, I surprised myself. Who knew I could do that? Like, I don't understand that. So that's why when we get to interview them, it's really nice to get their perspective of, no, I was raised to win. And if I don't win, I don't know how to react to it. Like, I'm not good with losing. And I'm like, well, I don't want to play board games with you. So no.
Well, I mean, it's been like that with any sort of, fighting sport. I think I don't think anything like that's ever going to change.
No. And
go ahead.
It's part of the game. You know what I mean? Like, you also don't want to coddle the people. There's winners and there are people who don't win in a fight. So, it's the grim reality of the sport, and I think they know that. But we could hold some sympathy. But here's the caveat we said about Ronda. I guess I'll close my thoughts on that with this. I said, don't get us wrong. When she makes dumb mistakes, we're going to give her shit for it. Like, I feel that there are many things that she does that are within the realm of making fun of. That's just something I choose not to do. And when I see memes that do proclaim that their handles say funny in them, I go, well, you better bring the funny. So the last thing, I'm sorry. The last thing I did say, actually, she had put up one more thing too. She had said that she's not going to talk about fighting.
Yeah, I
saw
read
that. And I go, That's the dumbest thing in the world. That's the only reason people know you. And yet you want to now go Hollywood and do that? And we put it up there, and we have one responder who just goes, "See, I told you guys she's a bitch." And I was like, "See, different thing." Come on,
but
dude.
she even said in that interview that, you know, I'm nothing without if I'm not this or something like that. I'm pretty sure that's how she put it. But and then to come back and say she's not talking about fighting, that's kind of.
You have to understand. I mean, I think maybe we go with this sort of creed or tact on our show, which is we ask people straight up if they're willing to talk about certain things. And I feel like if somebody doesn't want to talk about fighting, even if it's Ronda Rousey, it would give us like 1 billion views, and she didn't want to talk about fighting, and we're a fighting podcast, I'd probably be like, well, I think we're done here.
Have a good day.
Yeah, you can only talk about the Expendables 3 for so long before.
Or I'm going to be like, would you like to talk about all your missed cues on SNL? Because I can do that with you.
Ouchies. Raf with the dirtiness. Love it.
I feel like this is a good time to transition since we're still on the Ronda Rousey situation.
Yes, sir.
Let's get your official, unofficial thoughts here. MMA math. Who is going to win between what's going to happen next? I mean, since we've got Misha Tate, that this whole styles make fights thing blows me away, but Misha Tate whooped the shit out of Holly Holm, which I could say she whooped the shit out of Holly Holm because she did, but lost twice to Ronda. So here comes that gruesome threesome that I mentioned about 5 or 6 podcasts back. Is this going to be a bitter circle, do you think?
Honestly, I sat there and the first words out of my mouth were, I'm happy for Misha Tate. And everybody looks at me and they're all like really angry. Cause I think some people at my viewing party, and I've mentioned this before, I don't try to go to watch a lot of fights with people because I'm usually doing jokes or making memes. So I'm not exactly the world's best party guest, but I try and put on a good face. And, like when they did, they all looked at me for a reaction. They're like, Raf, what about Ronda Rousey? And I was like, oh no, that's the thing. Let's celebrate Misha now. Cause I'm not, got on the record this week as the saying that Ronda's not the same fighter she was. That she got broken in that fight, which I think you could make an argument. And, that she's no longer afraid of her. So maybe Misha has a little bit of an edge to her now. Now I want to ask you guys this, because this is something I was thinking about. The last couple fights, Misha had to at least kind of play a little bit more aggressive, just in terms of pushing Ronda. In the first fight, she made a dumb mistake. In the second fight, she did make a mistake, but she did push Ronda into further waters than anybody else. So now that she's the champion, do you see her being as aggressive? Because, taking into consideration the fight that was at UFC 196, she was a little tepid with Holly in the first round.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of a cautious fight.
Well, she's the world champ now. I mean, like, there's a big difference between being I'm like number 3 now. There's there's Holly, then there's Ronda, then there's me.
Yeah.
Or however you want to put that, but now she's on top. I mean, that's going to do wonders for her confidence as far as that goes. So I'd like to think that she's going to walk into this fight, if it happens, because I don't know if has there been an official announcement for this fight?
Okay, so right now Dana is going into a war of words with her management. He's always had really shitty things to say about her manager. And Dana was saying something to the effect of, this fucking guy thinks he's smart, but he's dumb. And I'll tell you why.
Oh, Jesus.
The reason why he's dumb is because, Holly didn't need to take that fight. And she did. And now she's not a champion. And all of that she could have been. And I'm thinking to myself, if you really watched Holly Holm in the post-presser conference, she spoke like a warrior. She said, I want to take the fight. I want to know. She has that competitive vibe of, if I want to be the best, I can't just duck people. I want to be the best, period. I don't want to have asterisks. I don't want to have that. Like, that's something I think that us as fans really resonate and respect. Dana is just butthurt that he lost a show pony and that he couldn't maximize to his full effect. So that's what he's saying, that, you know, she really lost out on something. Like, she's no longer special.
Well, that's such bullshit, though. I mean, like, she was the champ. She won the championship. She's the first person to put Ronda away. Not like, even in a close match, it was decisive how bad she beat her.
Yeah.
But at the risk of pissing off a bunch of people, I've got to make this statement, though. How do we know that that's... I'm going to say that, one, Ronda Rousey said shortly, I guess it was either her first or second interview right after the fight, that first shot she took from Holly Holm, she was essentially knocked out on her feet. That she couldn't gain her composure. She couldn't see what was going on. She couldn't figure out where she was at. So she was swinging blindly, if you really look at it that way. What's saying that if that fight was to happen again, if she didn't catch that shot quite the same, would it have ended the same way?
Probably ended boxing. I think that's the one thing you could say is her boxing coach sitting down and being like, "You're doing great. That first round, you're in this fight. You stay here." And if I really, I guess, want to be offensive, I do it in his voice, which is, you know, "Ronda, you're doing great. Don't worry. Keep left jab up. You're doing great. It's fine." But like, the hard part for me was, the hard part with that is that, you know, like I said, is she is loyal. She wants to stay loyal to him. And again, commendable in some ways. And they did get her to the dance. They got her to being that Ronda Rousey that we all know. But there was a big game plan flaw of trying to fight her standing up, like to prove that she's a better boxer than her because she's gotten mess about her hands. And I think that a lot of people could say that Ronda, she maybe, if you could say that things would have gone differently. But let's look at the other fact. That game plan, as put together by Greg Jackson's camp for Holly Holm, was very solid. And I thought Ronda was coming in to get a judo toss at some point, and Holly stuffed it. So that's what told me. That was like, they game planned for that so well. And when she says that, you know, everything the game plan came into fruition, I believe her. I really do. So I don't know. I think they would come up with the same game plan.
That shoot in that Ronda did, though, that looked like me. Like a little blue belt running in to try to take down a black belt. I mean, she was already so out of it that there was no way she would have succeeded with that.
Well, you got to take into account that, like you said, Greg Jackson isn't just like, well, fuck it, go out there and see what happens. Like, he has a very specific game plan for each of his fighters, and you know, there's a reason why he's one of the best in the business. So I think like the way that she reacted to that toss would have probably worked on 99.9% of the competitors in that division. However,
and let me ask you this though. Wasn't there kind of a bit of a scramble where it looked like Ronda was kind of instinctually going for armbar setup, and Holly was good. She recognized it, and she was like, I want nothing to do with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I thought that was super great. Like, that's why all of us got so excited in the fight, because you had this person who just seemed unbeatable, and we kept having these fights go for 10 seconds, like the Instagram sort of speed of fights, and we had somebody who was smart and played her own game with it, and who also recognized when Ronda charges you, if Ronda charges you, you can kind of Toro Bull her and just kind of step to the side and get your boxing in. But the big question is, guys, do you think that Ronda, because you're making the illusion, I think, which is maybe we don't see the same fight because MMA math doesn't necessarily say we'll see the exact same. Maybe Holly would lose to Ronda. It's hard to say. But do you think that Ronda could get in with her judo because she has to play to that strength? I think now, hopefully, they know not to have her box and try and outbox her. But
if she doesn't waste her time, if she doesn't try to start it out, you know, and really stand with somebody, absolutely, I think it'll go differently. But, I mean, if she shoots in right away, gets her judo, gets a person on the ground, then I think that's how it's going to sit. But she waited too long.
I don't know.
And the other thing is, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think that that's kind of like what that's the thing. Like, if they were going to have a rematch, I know Greg Jackson, hopefully, Because if I'm just dumbass Rob, who can recognize this, hopefully Greg Jackson can see it, like, you're going to go, hey, she's really going to try judo toss you this time. So we really need to work on this stand-up. So I think the rematch, I think Holly Holm actually takes it again.
Yeah, I mean, I'm interested, and I also think the most interesting aspect of judo that worked so well with Ronda, with all of her other opponents, is when she would rush in like that, she would get it. And judo happens so quick. And if you ever roll with somebody who's good at judo, it is very difficult
yes,
at times because their timing is so good. So I don't know that necessarily Ronda would lose that timing. I feel that she would, you know, in a great training camp, really be there, hopefully really mentally focused and back in the fight. She has to get on the inside. And with a boxer of Holly Holm's caliber, there are definitely holes, but I think it's difficult. So I don't know. Well, and I guess the question nobody's asking now is, does Holly Holm now have a similar trajectory in terms of confidence? Is she maybe a little shaken up now that this is her first loss? She's had losses before in boxing, but not in MMA.
Yeah, not that fast either. I mean, like, as far as, you know, her titles and stuff like that, she's never only held one title for one fight.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like, she doesn't seem like the type that. So you can do. I guess you can do kind of a comparison between Ronda and Holly Holm. I mean, look at the way they handled losing the belt.
Yeah.
So my whole thing is Holly Holm has been in the grind, has been fighting. You know, has lost some, won some. You know, to her, it's like you said. She wants to fight the best. She has to beat them in order to get that sense of accomplishment.
Ronda did the same thing, though. I mean, she did judo, and she was lost in the Olympics. She got, what was it, silver?
Bronze.
And I mean, yeah, so she knows, she's been there too. She's been up and down with the losses and the wins and stuff like that. So,
but what did she do afterwards? What was something she even admitted to? Like, going into deep depression, like, you know, I don't give a shit about marijuana, but some people are like, oh my God, the gateway drug. But, like, you know, she wasn't.
The gateway to Oreos.
Yeah, I'm cool.
Right.
Hey, hook me up then, man. Give me a glass of milk and that. But, you know, I think it's kind of the way you handle it. Are you going to be like, shit, I have to beat her now? Or, well, fuck, that was a good run. You know, let's, you know, just party and not really give a shit. I mean, depression is a big deal. And like you said, after she lost the belt, she's thinking about suicide. And the only thing that saved her was Travis Brown wanting to have his babies, which, you know, I understand trying to find a reason to survive. But if I was Travis Brown, I'd be freaked the fuck out.
Yeah, sure, definitely. I mean, I think anybody, it kind of came off reminiscent of, I don't know if you guys have ever seen this episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Ooh, yes.
Where Kate Olsen is on steroids and she's like, I want to eat your babies. I want to eat your babies, bitch. So when she said that she needed to have his babies, I was like, oh no. Oh, Ronda.
So
oh
what?
God, I hope you're okay.
So what, is Ronda going to be going into a bar and running into Conor McGregor eating a sandwich, getting ready for his next fight?
I hope so. You know what? I love the fact that, like, people are ragging on Conor McGregor. The party I was at, they were complaining that he tapped out. And I think it's mostly because they had just seen another champion go out. And you know what I mean? Like, we did a meme of it, and I was a little iffy on this one, but I put together footage from the movie Old School.
Yeah.
Because when it looked like Holly Holm was stuck in there, she wasn't necessarily fighting it that second time as much as she did in the second round. But she started looking like she was punching the air like Frank the Tank when he did the beer bong in Old School. So we cut the footage to show, and I was like, I am a terrible human being. I had to send that meme to like 8 different people just to get a temperament. And the reactions were all over the place. People were like, you need to post this immediately. And there were people who were like, Raf, I don't know about that one. And like, even some of my seediest friends were like, dude, that's the best thing I've ever seen. I'm like, I'm getting a whole mixed message all around from all of you, and I don't know. I was like, but we're going to put it because I spent time making it. So
yeah, you might as well.
have at it, internet. Happens, right? And the internet was pretty funny with it. And the rationale we had was we made a meme about Ronda losing the second after she did. It was only fair that we do it for Holly. But the difference is we don't harbor any bad feelings for either of them. Like, we look at them as fighters, we get excited for them, and we cheer for them. So for me, in terms of Holly Holm, there was something that was super great about seeing her just yesterday, with a picture from Diego Sanchez back in the gym working for rear naked choke defense.
Yep, saw that. That was really good. So
I think that's amazing. That's the type of outcome that you would hope any of us would have after having a huge loss in any kind of competition. Like, that doesn't make you like Holly Holm more. I think that you shouldn't be watching UFC or MMA.
I never disliked Holly Holm. I mean, I always thought that she was a pretty, outstanding person. But I think a lot of people forget that even though Ronda was a bitch, she got out there and she acted shitty. It was her persona. Mm-hmm. That's just what she was pushing on and what made her money. But she wasn't handed that. She worked her ass off to get up where she was. Holly Holm worked her ass off to get up there and knock her out. So it just, people get so focused on the fact that whether or not, whoever gave somebody the finger and this person's an asshole and that person's an asshole, but it doesn't change the fact that they busted their ass to get where they were. And they're going to have to do it again to get back.
You're taking the upright attitude to that because it is something that you say, and I think a lot of people feel that because I think most Americans are very much like, we want you to do well, but we want you to have class, we want you to conduct yourself well. And then I think there's another aspect of that coin, which is we want to be entertained.
Yeah.
So we want to be thrilled, we want to be titillated. I just always thought the weird double standard for Ronda is you look at the Diaz brothers doing the exact same thing, and you go, nah, but that's okay. That's cool. I like them. And it's a very similar trajectory. She's just maybe on a bigger scale because the media and the hype is bigger with her. But like, if Ronda Rousey had said right after one of her wins, you fucking knew that was going to happen. Like, could you have imagined just the reaction from the world? So I don't know. I mean, that's the whole thing is I think it's hard to separate the real from the fake or the hype from the legitimate kind of sportsmanship. But it's kind of, the facts of life for us. You take the good and you take the bad and you just kind of have to deal with it. It's part of the game.
Yeah.
So what, now that we're kind of moving in, we kind of mentioned Conor McGregor. What's your reaction to this whole Conor McGregor fight? We'll take away from the Diaz shit talking stuff because we know Conor he's trying to sell his fight. Like, I get that.
Yeah.
I really, really get that. And he's done he made $1 million just to show up. Just to show up.
Yep.
That's insane.
Yep. Just to show up and eat well for the past couple months, apparently.
Yeah, no kidding. But
I mean, if you guys look at the difference between the weigh-in photos, between the 145 and 170, he looked like the machinist at 145. Like, it was rough, but what you're alluding to is with Tim, in the same way where I have a lot of respect for Holly Holm, I have a lot of respect for him because I think that he's at a place now where he's garnered our respect for going up 2 weight classes. That's impressive.
Nope. See, I'm completely on the opposite fence of that. I can't stand Conor McGregor, and I think I would tell him that I'd get my ass whooped, but it's just his attitude. I can't really stand the way he is.
Well, it's an act. Like, I kind of see it as an act because I've heard him in interviews outside of, like, promoting his fights. He's just kind of like, yeah, I just like fighting, and, I was kind of like grew up, I wanted to be a fighter, things like that. But, it's a really weird situation, I guess, in a way. Like, he's called almost all of his fights, which is just crazy to me. Like the whole Jose Aldo situation. Like, I'm going to get him mad. He's going to rush the ring. I'm going to hit him. I'm going to knock him out. Like, what the hell happened? Like, what he's doing, how he's getting paid is amazing. It's really good. But, I mean, like you said, a lot of people want to see the classiness. And not a lot of people are up for the shit talking, but at the same time, yeah, they want to be entertained, just like you said.
It's that, but it's also, you want to be entertained. I mean, when Conor McGregor holds a press conference, you're just excited for what could come. You don't know what's going to come out of his mouth. And he is a world-class shit talker. And I think that makes, I don't know what you guys thought, but those 10 days of that fight announcement to the fight were a magical time in MMA.
No, I mean, like, the amount of shit talking between him and Diaz was amazing. Because Diaz just seemed to be like, yeah, I've heard people talk shit before. I really don't care, like, what you have to say.
He also was in a space of, he's very, like, he knew Conor's a shit talker. And, like, Diaz's version of shit talking is the equivalent of a bully in school, which is, yeah, we'll see about that. All right, you know, your mom. Fuck this.
Well, if they treat people from Stockton that way, that's not like this is something that he learned from people. No, people in Stockton are bred to be shit talkers. So why would he back down to absolutely anything that Conor McGregor could ever say to him?
Yeah, and I mean, Diaz is like, he's not even fazed by it, and that's what I saw during the press conferences. That's what we were so in love with, the fact that you've got somebody here who can talk tons of shit, and then you've got Diaz on the other side who just goes, I don't give a fuck, homie. I'm just waiting for the fucking fight. And then, when he does knock it out of the park, he steals the show with touch butt. When he said touch butt,
was amazing.
I was at work here, I stood up, and everybody looked at me, and I was like, you don't understand. Nobody here understands. But I'm just going to say hashtag touch butt. And people were chuckling, and I was like, you proved me right. Thank you.
Playing touch, what was he say? He played touch butt with that dork out in the park or something like that? Dork with a ponytail?
Yeah, that's right. Man, why are you going to talk shit about me? You're playing touch butt with that dork with the ponytail out in the park. With your fucking noodle, too.
Yeah, I mean, like, movement coach, I don't know, man. Like, it's obviously worked for him up till now, but
I think it was a new addition, wasn't it? I don't think that was a normal training perspective. I think that was a new addition to his training regimen.
Well, to be fair, he's always had really non-traditional ways of moving. Like, they always show those cool videos of him on the beach in Santa Monica doing, like, the crocodile or the alligator crocodile kind of walks and stuff like that, which I always look at. And here's the thing, guys. Like, I'm average build, average size, so I don't really get to say big jiu-jitsu for me, but I just always carry myself like, I can't do all that. Look at all that.
Well,
that's all movement.
One of Conor McGregor's original styles is capoeira, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So he's trained in that nonchalant, weird way of moving.
Absolutely. And that's the thing is, I look at that and I say, you know, part of me wishes I could do that. That would make so many things different from my own personal training. Like, it would be great to be able to be super flexible for jiu-jitsu. Sometimes it's not necessarily in the cards. You can warm yourself up like a rubber band and make yourself better. But, you know, some people, that's just them, and he's got the right size and feel for it. And it's usually worked, but as we saw on Saturday, it was kind of a little slower and maybe a little harder.
You ever seen that video of the fat guy on the diving board whenever he goes out to do a backflip off the diving board and he ends up flipping?
Yes.
Yeah, that would be me. If I ever decided to go and do capoeira, I would, the first time that they wanted me to do one of them one-hand handstand kicks, I'm pretty sure my whole shoulder would explode.
When I started at 10th Planet, they have a very intense set of warm-ups. And part of them was like, they go, all right, now do some cartwheels. And I was like, you're kidding me. I didn't do cartwheels as a kid. I'm hell not doing them now. And so I would be that guy, and I'm still that guy, who when I do a cartwheel, like, it starts great, and then it just flats. Like, it just crashes. So you'll see me go up in the air, and I'll hold it for like a second, and then you can just comically, you should be recording me just falling, like the world's saddest fall, and holding up the line. So I hate that shit. But now I'll do a passable one. I do the cartwheel where you don't advance. You just stay in place.
Yeah.
Which is really dumb, but like people will be like, what are you doing? And I go, this is my cartwheel. I just walk after I do one each time.
Yep.
Like a little bit further down as if I had done the real cartwheel.
Oh, yeah. That's the way to do it. You know what I think? I think I should probably start a career as a big jiu-jitsu or just a big guy movement coach.
Oh, yeah.
Are you kidding me? I think I'd make a killing.
I'll be like that, I mean, but I have so many different shots in my head of me trying to do like cartwheels and stuff like that, and different movies pop into my head. You know that little fat kid on Hook with Robin Williams when he rolls down in a ball? Yep, that would be me.
Well, dude, why don't you just come out for a week? I'll be your movement coach, and we'll do something, I guess. I'll just kind of look some shit up. We'll do that.
We'd probably do that online. It'd be just as productive.
I'll charge people money? Oh, man, I'm really gonna cash in on this shit.
You need to Gracie online this shit ASAP.
Oh,
you need to give people ranks. You need to give people certifications that they can get with big man jiu-jitsu movement. I mean, I'm just spitballing here.
No, it's good. I mean, if it sticks to the wall, I'll take it. But I mean, if people can get technical online blue belts, why the hell can't they be technical online big guy movement coaches?
Absolutely. I need that. I don't know if you guys have this, but you know how like different gyms work out weird? Like you'll have your regulars who come and you got small guys, medium guys, all that kind of stuff. There's a guy at my class, he's about my height, but he's got like 80, 90 pounds on me.
Wow.
And the way the dynamic always comes is he and I are the biggest people, so I'm working with him. So one person actually just told me, and I swear I looked a hole through their head when they go, well, you guys are about the same weight and height. But I was like, you should. You can say you guys go train together. You are the people who are going to work together. But I was like, oh, God. So it's like literally looking at it going like, well, there's lightweights and then these guys.
Damn. It's enough to make you not want to eat lunch, right?
Yeah, but I mean, for me, like, I love eating, so it's not a problem for me. It's just a matter of if we're working on some wrestling and he's like, how come you're not shooting in? I'm like, no.
You'll kill me if you land on me.
I'm contemplating heading over to Krispy Kreme's as soon as I get off the phone.
No. Oh, no. I'm doing the opposite of what I'm supposed to do.
Don't lie. Both y'all chubby fuckers, both y'all, your mouths just started salivating a little bit whenever I said Krispy Kreme's. That's like God's jizz.
Well, definitely don't want Krispy Kreme anymore. That just kind of hit some weird.
That must be the New Testament. I didn't know if I read that one exactly in there.
They
and
built
on
the
the seventh day, God rested and jizzed, and Krispy Kreme was born. There you go.
They built the Krispy Kreme in a couple towns over from us, and me and my wife walked in there for the first time, and she goes, "Oh my God, do you smell that?" I said, "Yeah, baby, I do." And I was just laughing. She said, "What?" I said, "It smells like diabetes in here."
That's great.
Yeah, I feel that way every time I go.
Sounds
as
delicious.
You should. I sometimes look at the stuff I ate as a kid and I go, how am I still alive?
No, I understand that. Yeah, I really do. Like, oh yeah, like
that was a good thing.
Oh man, such a chubby little fucker when I was a kid. Jesus. So
I'll tell you guys this. When I was a kid, I would get home from soccer. I'd actually have a bag of Doritos, like the big bag, and I could put that thing away and like drink a Coke and everything. But I'm like, what was I doing? Oh my God. But because you're out there working it off all the time and like running around, not even caring, you're just like, this is easy. I worked it off.
Yeah. No, I mean, like I hit like a good part in high school. I'm like, oh my God, I'm in shape. Look at me, man. I can eat like go to Burger King. Then I've got like a 3-hour wrestling practice, and then I'll do like an hour of Taekwondo. I could eat anything. And then I'm like, oh, yeah, dude, I'm still in high school. I'm fucking 26 at this point. Nah, you're getting fat, man. It's okay.
So,
go ahead.
I'm sorry. Raf, you've done commentating for the Newaza Challenge. I could probably make a list about 10 foot long about all the stuff you commentated for. What's next?
I think what's coming up next is my good friend John Evans, who I did the commentary with for the Newaza Challenge. We're probably going to look to do some events out of his gym. Probably very similar, because all the production was basically him. You know, I showed up and I helped produce a little bit and, you know, put on my talking cap, if you could call it as such. But I think we want to take that same production value that we did for the Newaza Challenge and do it out of his gym. And it would be me and him commentating. And, you know, John, like, I never had a goal to go out there and commentate. My whole approach to MMA and Jiu-Jitsu has always been, you know, I'm a fan and I have a unique perspective, I think, or at least a unique way of explaining it with having done comedy and a lot of speaking. But I just always think, what is it that I can lend the sport? Because I feel like it's getting more popular, but it still hasn't reached its apex. And especially with Jiu-Jitsu, you don't get a lot of people who do good color commentary on it.
No,
I think there are good commentaries, but I don't think there are people who make it exciting and tell the stories of the athletes. And one thing I do pride myself on our podcast is I can do narratives well. So much in the same way that people look at competition, like, they review tape and they really try and make improvements and become the best they can. That's kind of the way I approach broadcasting. Like, I never thought it was something I wanted to do, but when my buddy John Evans was doing a commentary and I saw it something I could hopefully lend the event and moreover lend the sport, I'm happy to do it. And it's not going to be everybody's jam. Like, you know, one thing that we'll do when we are commentating is I will read the mean tweets on air, but the problem is I have the mic, so I also have free reign to say what I want back to these people. And as long as they're coming from a good place of being fans of the sport, they can say I suck. I don't really care. But yeah, I think we'll do a little bit more of that. And I guess I should also say we're very well surrounded by people like you guys are very supportive, and a lot of people out there are really nice, and I think they like there's somebody who gets equally as excited as them. So my goal is always to transfix people as if you're having a conversation with us. Like if you were in the gym, this is what you'd hear us talking about. So yeah, I think we're going to do that with John. I'll let you guys know a little quick project that we actually shot last night that I'm really excited to put up. Last night, my good friend, Juan came down. He trains with, Jeff Glover and Dean Lister out in San Diego. He happened to be in the area, and we shot a sketch that asked the question, what if it was Batman versus Superman in a jiu-jitsu context?
Ooh.
Now, who do you think I played?
Batman?
Robin.
First of all, you can fuck off with your Robin.
Oh, Commissioner Gordon.
This is 1,000% true. There was a neighbor friend of mine who was just kind of a dick. And maybe I was a dick for doing this too, but I feel I was in the right. Whenever they'd want to do like costumes, like our parents are friends, they'd be like, well, should we get them to go like kind of in something that's kind of cool together, like a group kind of one? And they're like, yeah, how about we do like Batman and Robin? I'm like, I'm Batman. Next month comes in, next year we're dressing up on something. They're like, all right, what do you guys want to do? Super Mario Brothers? I'm Mario.
Oh, that's totally.
So there are photos
like
of me and this poor kid. I do. I have a good Mario vibe to me. But there are pictures of me and this poor kid. Like, he's second banana to everything I am. Like, I feel if we continued this trajectory, I'd be like, I'm Johnny Carson, he's Ed McMahon. Whatever.
So was that other kid, John Evans?
No, I wish it was. I wish I had met John way earlier in life. John is a funny, goofy, smart dude, and he loves jiu-jitsu, I think, more than anybody I've met. And he's the only reason I don't fall on my face whenever we're training or I go to other academies and train with other people. Like, anytime somebody says I did something good, I'm like, it's John. It has nothing to do with me.
Quick background for everybody who don't know John Evans or hasn't heard his name. He has the BJJ Breakdown Academy and website, correct? And he's also the new podcast host for Jiu-Jitsu Times. Am I right?
That is correct. He is. He's a giant nerd.
That was just announced February 16th. I think it was.
Yes, it was.
Or it was a couple days before that. But he took over that. I'm not going to say anything mean about the jerk that used to have it before, but but he took over that guy's spot whenever there was a whole bunch of controversy with him. But that has definitely made it to where I will listen to the Jiu-Jitsu Times podcast again. Just because he's hosting it now.
John is good people, and we always like to say that we complement each other. And this is something I tell guests, but it's something I really mean with John, which is, trust me on the mic like I trust you on the mat. So I give him notes like he would give me for sweeps, with, how he does broadcasting and I think he was already good. It was just a matter of, I look at him and I'm like, he wants to be like really good at this. Like, this is something that he came in passionate about. And he was doing these breakdown videos of matches before, I had even met him. And I remember looking at him and saying, like, you're good. I can help you do even better. And he was just like, oh, well, gee, that's really nice of you, Raf. I can't believe that you would help me and go out of your way to do all those nice things. And oh, geez. And I'm like, yep. This guy is going to be the most lovable person in jiu-jitsu. And I look forward to hearing what he has to do, because he'll nerd out about techniques and skills and different moves and matches. So I'm intrigued, And I apparently will make cameo appearances on there every once in a while. But, screw that guy.
Yeah, we've had our run-ins, and well, not me particularly. I guess I can say I have. But that old guy that was there was not any fun.
I don't know that guy all that well, but I can just tell you that I'm glad they're going with John. I think he's one of the nicest people who has great knowledge and scope. And, it's also kind of cool because I told him, I'm like, dude, I'm going to talk shit about your podcast. Like, I'm going to totally take you to war, dude. Cause you know what happens? Every time you get me with a cross-color choke, I'm going to talk even more shit about your show.
That's what friends do though, man.
Absolutely, man. He's just too much better at me at jiu-jitsu, and I'm never going to beat him.
You got to get him somehow. I mean,
that's right. I'm going to beat him at what I'm good at. By using my words good.
We're good in English things. Make him feel bad.
That's right.
Hell yeah.
We joke about, we have a guy at the academy who, he doesn't necessarily talk like this, but I make him sound like this, where it's like, teacher, I don't know why I do the things that I do, but I like the thing that you showed it today. I don't know why I want to do it. Can we do it again?
I think there's one guy like that in every academy, though.
Yeah, absolutely. And my favorite is John will look at me and be like, that's a really good impression.
Oh, God damn it. That poor guy. Hopefully he's not listening to this. He might.
Oh, he might. And sometimes he does. Sometimes he watches the weird thing. We found out yesterday, he was telling the guy he came to guest as Superman, he goes, oh, you're that guy from the video that Raf put out. And he's like, yeah, I am. And he goes, oh, man, I saw an Instagram of that, and I must have watched it on loop for an entire week. And I was like, I don't think he's lying. I think that John sometimes they just get lost. Just go, has it been a week? Oh.
Oh shit! I've been watching this. Wow, I need to eat or something.
Absolutely.
Damn.
I think it's. I think that was one of my favorite things about whenever you guys do commentate, especially whenever you guys did the Newaza challenge, and it actually turned to where the camera was looking at you guys, and you'd make a joke, and John would look at you like you killed a deer in front of him or something, and just like he found no comedic value at all to what you had said at that moment, and he just turns and says, "Well, meanwhile in jiu-jitsu, we're doing this out."
Yeah,
and it's like, well, he has that blank stare down to a T.
Well, we do the same thing because, like, sometimes this is a very true dynamic for us in the gym. In the gym, I'm not super wisecracky. I try to, respect whoever is teaching the class. But sometimes people just want me to do jokes, and I'm like, that's not how I work. So John, he'll show a move, and he'll be like, when the instructor says, "All right, everybody get that?"
Yeah. And,
like, I don't get anything. So I try not to answer honestly to him, because if I'm really going to answer honestly, I'm going to tell him, nope. Did not get any of that.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I literally saw you do it, could not explain how you did it. And he'll have explained it like 3 or 4 times. So we've gotten into this practice where if he's like, he'll go, "Hey, did you guys, how did that move work? Did everybody get that on okay?" And I'll just literally look past him. I'll look at the wall, like, And he'll like be like, "Raf, did you get that?" And I'll be like, I did it. I did the move a couple times. So he does that same stare when with my jokes, and it just happens by chance, but that's how we react. So we have a good laugh about it, but I try not to be the worst student in the world to him, consistently.
Well, I'm happy for him. He's a good dude, and I'm actually really looking forward to what he comes up with on there. And you guys are a good team. I enjoy listening to a lot of y'all's commentary. Yeah, listen to me. Tell him from Illinois. Y'all's commentary. But I do enjoy it, and you guys make a good team.
I appreciate it, man. We try to do 2 sides of the coin. I try to be the broadcaster to his play-by-play, and I think we have fun. And, when we did the Abu Dhabi Grand Slam together, it was like a big kid version of it. We were like, "Oh, this is where you guys play." And the guys at Budo Videos were so nice to us, and I can't say enough nice things about them. But we were getting comments on there that's like, this guy should know more. And I'm like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. That's probably me." And they're like, "No, I mean the color, like the play-by-play guy, he should know more." And I'm like, "Oh, you can fuck off."
Yeah, no kidding.
Like, you can get the shit out of here. It's one thing to say I don't know anything, because I don't. Or even just like, if you're gonna make fun of John for not having good jokes, like, John is funny. So, we've got some people on there.
John's, his commentary may come off sometimes as a lack of knowledge, but it's not. It's the 100% jiu-jitsu nerd, just like we all are. If we're all, if we do jiu-jitsu and we watch a jiu-jitsu match and we're trying to explain it, and then we're like, "Oh shit, what the hell did he just do?" And then we completely lose track of focus and can't verbalize it, and then we're just in awe of the match.
I think what happens is John likes to explain as if you're watching it as a true professor. And that's something I feel that is one of his best assets. That doesn't necessarily work for everybody, because much in the same way how when you watch a fighter and you see that they don't have like the world's best boxing, you go, "Oh, this guy's boxing sucks. Oh my God." Like, you get mad. It's the same thing with analysts, you know what I mean? Like, if John's not explaining something at a 3rd-degree black belt level, and you're a 2-degree black belt, and you're just mad that you don't have that extra echelon, well, I got news for you. The majority of people watching this aren't your 2nd-degree black belt. And I got news for you as well. There's also difference in philosophies. There's also difference in approaches. And that all jiu-jitsu is supposed to be for everyone. So there are different ways to go about it. So don't be a dick. So that's why half the time if I ever see anybody that's a little too nice or full of themselves, we usually like to handle that accordingly. And John just lets me run with it. John doesn't say a damn thing.
Well, it's good then, because he lets you just take care of the issue.
Well, like one time he got a dig in on somebody that was just like, well, I'm glad they cleared that up. And I was dying. I just like, it was the closest to like a John sick bird that I had to put my mic on mute. And it was just like, oh, snaps. He got them so bad. That's so sad for them. But like, wow. Yeah, and that's the thing is like, I know we're not everybody's jam, but I just challenge you to find a better dynamic than us. Like, we're gonna make things fun in a different way. Otherwise, you're gonna get the show of, and this is the one thing I don't want. I don't want the show to be about us. I want us to heighten the show.
Yes.
And, I think you might find people who make the show about them. So when I say we want to be the best and we want to do that, that is a proclamation I make that comes with a lot of hard work and a lot of wanting to give you guys the best. So hopefully, a lot of people enjoy it and we give you guys good stuff to listen to.
And you Absolutely. You do. So where can the people find you if they want to listen to your podcast, Raf?
Absolutely. So if you guys want to listen to a real podcast,
not this piece of shit podcast.
Yeah, exactly. Just really love the fact that I waited all the way to the end to say that joke. Because
and you did lull us in. You really did get us with it. You followed through on the words.
Hang up on him.
That's like a mouse click. I'm really too lazy to do that shit right now.
If you guys want to check out our podcast, we're at verbaltapcast.com. So that's verbaltapcast.com. You can also check us out on Instagram at verbaltapcast, on Twitter at verbaltapcast. We're on Snapchat for some ungodly reason. That's also at verbaltapcast. If you want to see me eating sandwiches and shit like that, that's cool.
Yes.
Yeah, no, it's super sick. We found out that like the day I got on Snapchat, I'm pretty sure Gary sent me a note. Gary Tonin sent me a Snapchat just welcoming me to it with a song.
Oh, that was nice of him. It was very
and
nice
then we realized we're like, these MMA fighters, and we had like more, like 5 or 6 other MMA fighters who we love sending us notes. It's like, dude, we're so glad you're on here too. And Kevin remarked and he goes, I forget that MMA fighters are 16-year-old girls at heart. So we're stuck on Snapchat as well. And also on Facebook, / Verbal Tapcast. You guys can catch us all there. You can also catch my stand-up comedy stuff at Early Late Night, on all the channels aforementioned, Instagram and the Twitter and, all that good stuff. And, I believe I'll have some articles coming out pretty soon for Gist Magazine as well. So I freelance for them.
Ooh, very nice.
Yeah, good stuff.
So, Raf, we really do appreciate you coming on the show, man. I've had a blast talking to you about MMA and hopefully getting my movement coach thing going off the ground and about.
I mean, I'm coming back for residuals on that. It's gonna really make all of us rich, guys.
I agree. Or just sue the shit out of me if I just run with it and don't give you any credit. That I guess that'll.
Oh no, I've already got my lawyers on retainer, and don't worry about that. I mean, I've just got the Gracie lawyers because they'll sue for anything, even each other sometimes. Why not?
Yeah.
Well, at Big Jiu-Jitsu, we're working on, getting a bunch of stuff, just, publicized for us, like the Christian Woodsman C, interview they did. What was it? Spider-Man guard or
Spidey?
Or
it was the Spidey. That was the move.
The Spidey. Yeah. So now we got the Big Jiu-Jitsu movement coach. Boy, we're moving up. You guys.
Damn, dude. And I love this Christian Woodman too. He's good people. So I'm glad you guys are doing that.
Yep, doing our best, man. So once again, Raf and Jonathan, thank you for being on the show as well. You guys can catch us at bigjujitsu.com. That's where you can find all of our podcast episodes. Don't forget to like our Facebook page, facebook.com/bigjujitsu. And, of course, don't forget to order a t-shirt. They're all on sale right now. They're almost sold out, so you don't have many chances left until we order, well, of course, the next batch. Once again, I am Rob the Lord Humongous, and we will catch you all next time.